So
maybe you got a little sneak peek there. Ruh-roh. Ruh-roh. Well, I guess we're gonna have to just do this right now. Oh, okay, it's time. It's time, chat. We got ourselves a little Sargon and Milk Boy double action. It's like it's very similar to Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. Very similar experiences. So we have Sargon and Milk Boy today.
Her ramble was just a gorilla.
MCR, thanks so much. Kate in Space, also thanks for following. I think I already said that. Now don't be alarmed. Don't be alarmed. They're not actually in the room with me, okay? These are high-budget streamer props that are only available to those of us who are Twitch partners. This is a Sargon of Akkad body double. There's very subtle things that you can look for. For instance, in real life, Sargon doesn't wear a monocle, but he does think he's very smart. So there's like the gist of a monocle in his tone. You know what I'm saying? But this one has an actual monocle. And this is Milk Boy. His skin tone is, I mean, it's spot on. It's exactly the same as in real life, so it's very hard to suss this out. But much like the Joker, the Jared Leto Joker, with the forehead tattoo here, this version of Milk Boy is a little bit edgier than the actual real life Milk Boy. These are just subtle things. But really, this is a trash can instead of those people. And so if you're confused by that when they showed up, I apologize. Yeah, these are. Don't be alarmed. We're in a safe place right now, far away from real Milk Boy and real Sargon. Yeah, better copies than fake Melania, that's for sure. Definitely, these are trash can deepfakes. That's true. So anyway, Sargon of Akkad does a thing called Lotus Eaters because he's so far up his own ass, he couldn't possibly name a show he does with any sort of humility. It has to be a reference to like ancient philosophers. If you don't know what the Lotus Eaters are, just Google Lotus Eaters philosophy. Just Google that because yeah, he's sniffing his own farts. So anyway, Milk Boy and Sargon of Akkad are saying the left is radicalizing against MAGA. Okay. MAGA not being radical, of course, but that's okay. All right, let's talk about this.
So the left is radicalizing against the MAGA movement, and it's insane. Like, it's the most irresponsible thing that's happening. The way that people, and again, if these were just random Twitter accounts, then sure, I'd be like, okay, well, there's a radical fringe of the left-wing movement, and they are psychotic, but it's just the radical fringe. If the mainstream talking heads are not saying anything crazy...
Well, this was your opinion in what, like 2015?
Milk Boy! Look at him, he's so little. Milk Boy is the Elijah Wood of this podcast. He's just a tiny little boy with light in his eyes, okay? Tiny little boy with light in his eyes, very milky, and he's got a quest. We don't know what the quest is yet, but he's like a little hobbit. He's got a very comfortable chair though. So yeah, Elijah Milk. That's probably his name, to be honest.
Fringe.
Yeah.
And now it's the mainstream Democrats.
Oh yeah, and totally, and they've gone completely off the rails. Can we play the first clip from Jake Tapper? Because this is mad.
CNN anchor?
Yeah.
42-year-old Capitol Hill police officer Brian Sicknick was killed this week when that manic Trump-supporting mob, whipped into a frenzy by President Trump, his allies, and their election lies, staged a domestic terror attack on the U.S. Capitol.
Yes. Is that radical? Is any of what just was uttered by Jake Tapper, big lib energy Jake Tapper, was any of that radical left? What? That was just like factual. There was a little stank on it, obviously, because he's tired of this bullshit at this point. But I mean, like that was yeah. What?
I mean, that's not calming things down, is it?
What?
I mean, I don't agree that that's a...
the news's job is to calm things down. You know that's what news... When you have news, that's the job. Calm everybody down. True.
I don't think that's an accurate representation of anything.
It's such a neutral framing from a platform that claims to be neutral as well.
Exactly. I mean,
Ryan, thanks for following.
this is invective. This is the words that he's using are designed to evoke certain kind of imagery and feelings in the people hearing them in order to make them agree with one position and not another.
Totally unlike how Sargon does things. Sargon never wants you to agree with him. He only wants to give you neutral information. There's never a point in Sargon's content where he is trying to persuade you at all. Yeah. Okay.
He would never have said something like that about Black Lives Matter, even though that's actually true about Black Lives Matter.
Oh, interesting. So you just did the thing that you're not supposed to do for Black Lives Matter, but not the thing for the MAGA insurrection on the Capitol, where they murdered a police officer with a fire extinguisher. I'm detecting a bit of bias, if you ask me. Just a touch of bias. Yes, I'll have some bias with my cuppa. That's what English people call tea, a cuppa. Yeah, they don't make a lot of sense. It's fine.
Like the way that the left has stoked up Black Lives Matter and caused the damage and the deaths that it caused, that Trump was actually not that extreme, in my opinion. I mean,
in my opinion, which is of course not the thing that you're supposed to do, but you have some sort of, you're not supposed to give your opinion, I guess, but he does give his opinion. I don't know. In my opinion, you're not supposed to give opinions when you do a news show. Strange, Carl.
you could, in an uncharitable interpretation of what Trump's speech was, say that, yeah, he was riling people up. But that would have...
They literally said they were riled up by Trump. They quite literally said, I'm following orders from the president. What? The people said that... They said they got energized by Trump. They quite literally say it out loud. I have no idea why you're, like, surprised that they did the thing. They said it did. Did BLM kill any cops? BLM, over the course of 2020, has been linked to 0 murders. Or maybe it was Antifa. One of the two. I think it was BLM, though. Now I gotta know. Which one was it? The report came out like 3 days ago. BLM murder. It was in the news. Yeah, BLM, not linked to any murders in 2020. Didn't an Antifa person kill a chud in Portland? So there's a difference between murder and that. But that could have been a murder. I'm just saying, like, you know what I'm saying? Like qualifies as a murder. There may have been casualties within those, but no murders. BLM shot themselves 4+ times. Maybe. I don't. No murders though. Not linked to any murders, according to the FBI. Slurp.
To be an uncharitable explanation. And a charitable one could be, well, Trump wanted them to just go and peacefully protest outside the Capitol. That's also a fair reading.
He did explicitly say, be peaceful.
Well, he did, yeah.
So
I mean, like...
See, even a neutral interpretation would be that.
Exactly. But Jake...
Oh, he's so little. I just want to swaddle him.
Giving the most...
He's so milky. It's like a little bag of Canadian milk.
So, I mean, and again, this is not just, the CNN anchor. Now we have the former governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger, comparing them to Nazis.
Yeah, I wouldn't. If you don't see the parallels between this and the beer hall putsch, I don't know. Although Schwarzenegger incorrectly said the Night of Long Knives, which Crystal knocked. That was a different thing altogether. That was attacks on like Jewish-owned businesses and stuff in their neighborhoods. That is not what this was. This was more like beer hall putsch. Yeah. Donald Trump said that, hey, let's go march on the Capitol, and he said that he was walking with the people. They definitely thought they had a mandate by the President of the United States to do the thing, and then he left them. They did the thing. He said that we love you while he was in a bunker. There were at least like a dozen different Republican Congress people that helped these individuals. A lot of the Capitol Police was in on it. Some of the Capitol Police were not. Some of them defended the people they were supposed to. They came in trying to kidnap members of Congress and lynch them in front of the Capitol with gallows they built right there during the riot. Like, I don't know what you possibly could, like, I have no idea how your brain can look at something like this and go, yep, that's patriotism. That's what we should do. Then a broken glass. Did I say 9 long knives? Yeah, no, broken glass. You're right. But this is this is this is not the way to be. Not the way to be.
Her ramble was just a gorilla.
Gilgulm, thanks for that. Jaden, thanks for following. Appreciate that. If you don't see the problem with this, you're very, very far gone. Like, you need to reassess what your values are, because I guarantee you, if I asked your individual values, they would not line up with the idea that this is okay to do.
As the New York Times report, in a video that quickly drew millions of views, Schwarzenegger compared the riot.
They literally built gallows? Yeah. Gallows, right, yeah. Boink. Right there. Yeah. Oh boy, HB, my guy. I gotta take a little chill pill and just pay attention for a little while, huh?
At the Capitol last week to Kristallnacht, a rampage in Germany in 1938, which Nazi-inspired mobs burned synagogues and destroyed Jewish-owned shops.
Yeah, I actually disagree with Schwarzenegger's take on this is Kristallnacht.
Mobs.
Beer hole punch.
That's nothing like it. A, whose private property was damaged? Nobody's. Right, back in June, though, Black Lives Matter was rampaging through Washington, D.C., burning shops, destroying property.
But they weren't... That's different. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. It's so fucking different, right? Were they targeting shops based on any racial or cultural thing? No, they were not targeting specifically anyone's shop based on their heritage or any demographic information. The other one, Kristallnacht, specifically attacked Jews specifically. Just burning down a house is not the same as doing it. That's as stupid as saying that I don't know, that the Trayvon Martin killing is the same as the Casey Anthony thing, where she killed her kid. Like, 2 kids died. They're wildly different situations. Wildly. It's like not understanding the context. It's not understanding the difference between like a fire started, I don't know, in a like an arson and an accidental fire. Like it's like just they're different. They're contextually very different. I have no idea how your brain can do something like this. This is absolutely stupid.
So I'm sorry. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What?
I mean, this isn't to say it's good.
We don't take our information from Arnold Schwarzenegger, by the way. He also held up a sword in that, and I thought it was pretty corny. Where he's like, the sword is tempered through fire and cold. At a certain point, it makes your steel brittle, but whatever.
Andrew Cuomo is about to put the Jews in camps for being COVID victims. Like, and Trump supporters.
The Jews in camps for being COVID victims. What? What? Having COVID is not like being a Jew. There's no heritage in it. It's just you have a disease that hurts other people. I have not heard anything about California putting people in camps. That said, forcing people that are positive to isolate is ideal. I have no idea why you wouldn't want that. For some reason, Sargon of Akkad, like Carl just he would welcome the Black Plague. Like, no, we shouldn't do anything. Just let us get herd immunity from the Black Plague. Kill 40% of the European population, please. Yes. Stupid.
And the Nazis are they unreal? Unreal.
This, I just wanted to get in there to say, just to say explicitly, it's also not to say that what happened on...
I assume he's talking about Orthodox Jews in New York who are gathering in large groups continuously and spreading a lot of COVID. Gavin Newsom, right? Didn't he say Gavin Newsom? Am I nuts? Or did I miss? Did he say Cuomo? Either way. Did he say Cuomo or Newsom? I might have misunderstood. But either way, if it was Cuomo about the Jews, he's just not letting them go to church. Like, please don't go to church. He said Cuomo. Okay, either way, like, just don't do it. Like, there's no camps. It's reference to Orthodox Jews spreading COVID more. Look up their secret celebration during COVID. There's a shitty take by this dickhead. Yeah, it's a pretty shitty take. Don't have large gatherings in your holy places. If you have to go to church for some reason, I'm fine with you going to church, but just do multiple services a day with fewer people in it. If that's really what you want to do that, and then stay at home. And wear a mask and be socially distanced in it and have hand sanitizer and shit in there if you 100% must. If you violate that shit, well, then we got to talk about your tax exemption and stuff like that, because you're violating the law that is set in place to help other people. I am fine with you doing certain things to some extent. You can still go to the store. You can still do other stuff. You could sit in a chair. But if you're sitting in a chair in a packed house, you're in big trouble. Like, that's not fucking okay. It just doesn't make any sense. Of course, there are Orthodox Jews there, and there are Trump supporters and anti-maskers, of course. But I'm just saying, those are the rules. And if you want to follow the rules, great. If you don't want to follow the rules, well, yikes. I'm so happy to take someone's rights away in regards to violating a law, right? Depends on the right? Like, I will take your right to leave your house. Okay, you're on house arrest until further notice, until this shit blows over. I'm fine with that because it saves everybody else. It's for the common good. It's harm mitigation. Of course, I don't want those people to starve. I would still give them UBI. Everybody should be getting UBI right now, but yeah, that's a different story. If you just paid people to stay the fuck at home for 3 months, this has been done. And then if you would have been hard, of course, Trump, but and then you have to be hard line on the people that decide to violate that. Like, you have to be like, okay, well, if you're gonna violate this, if you're not going to a store, you're not gonna do other stuff, like you're not a frontline worker. Like, you could have easily gotten a handle on this if you just were proactive. Like, if you just have something in plan for a pandemic like this, like, hey, if this happens, we're going to set UBI into motion for 90 days. You're going to get paid $500 a week or $2,000 a month. I prefer $500 a week, so you have a little bit more, you're rotating this out faster for everybody. And you always have a little bit of cash on hand at least. That would be ideal. We have a very strict policy. If you don't, there will be a situation where you have to be on house arrest, and if you violate that, then we'll be on jail. A little clamp or something on your ankle to be like, all right, well, we know when you leave. Like, that'd be like I don't know. I don't want to take your freedom necessarily, but okay, well, here's what's going to happen: house arrest, and then you have to violate house arrest to do anything after that. It'd be very simple and easy, and then after that, live your life, do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. But you're hurting other people, and that's not okay. Especially people that are like immunocompromised and shit. Like, it's hurting the weakest of us. It's hurting the most in need. I don't know. Ugh, grosses me out. Thanks, it Lizard. Happy to have
Capitol
you.
Hill was good.
No.
Like, yes, he attacked a government building. A police officer has died.
Yes.
But you can see the framing there. Like, compare that to the framing of what? Like, 19 people dead, I think 3 of them police officers,
Yep.
over the riots of Black Lives Matter. Let's go back to 2015 where that guy shot 8 cops in Dallas.
Yep.
Black Lives Matter. No, there's no framing like that. No one ever wants to treat them in this.
So the guy that shot 8 people in Dallas wasn't a member of Black Lives Matter, if I remember correctly, right? He was a military member that used a sniper rifle, and then they took a bomb and attached a bomb to a drone and walked it up to him and blew him up. At the time, I thought that was pretty interesting and kind of cool, because you kind of gotta get out of that. And then the more I become aware of how police operate, the less I'm inclined to think that that's interesting and cool. The less I'm inclined to think that that's a reasonable course of action. Now, again, I'm for harm reduction, so I don't know. That guy was shooting people with a gun, but he was most of the people who died in BLM protests were BLM protesters. Exactly. Also, a report came out today, to the shock of literally no one, of course, to the shock of no one, the report came out today that left-wing protests, if you have a left-wing protest, you are 3 times more likely to have a negative interaction with police than you are if you have a right-wing protest. Flower Girl, thanks for giving one to It Lizard for showing up for the first time. Oh, I can hear my neighbors. They're yelling. They're yelling at each other. Can you hear them chat? Wow. Oh, little child yelling stuff. Little child scream. We like that shit. That's good stuff. That's good content. That's good goddamn content. Not domestic. No, it's not a domestic dispute. That was when I had white neighbors right there in that house. No, these guys just have friends, and they're always very happy. But then they have a kid who's pretty loud, but that's okay. No, the white neighbors I had, they had a kid. Do they have 2 kids? He would get drunk, and they would have screaming matches. But then they sold the house, so that was good. So my mom works at a group home. 4 of the 8 clients are COVID-19 positive, and the heads, no clue what you'd call them, has sent out a memo stating even if you get corona, you can still work. Ooh. Wow, that's fucking shit. Sounds like childhood. Sounds a little bit like childhood. Yeah. Kids do yell. Yell louder than your neighbors? Well, I try not to yell. I don't want to infect their lives with my politics, even though they should probably agree with me. They are they're not white, so I don't know what their heritage is. So I was going to say black, but I think there's an older guy that mows the lawn, but I don't know if he lives there. That he's a black guy, but I don't want to like make assumptions because we don't talk. It's been Corona since they moved in. But their kid is loud. The black guy, I think, is their one of their dads or something. He comes over. He's a nice guy though. I like him. We mow the lawns at the same time sometimes, and we like line up our lines together and shit. Good time. Be loud, Skrillex neighbor? No way. Schools are open? No. What? What? Schools are open. What are you talking about? No? I don't think so. Maybe the schools are open? Are the schools open in the area? Wow. Are both peninsulas ESD? Yes. I used to have a black neighbor who was really nice, but whose roommate got busted for selling pot. Now white redneck scream. Dude, we have a very mixed neighborhood, and at the end of the street, he's not really my neighbor, but he's at the end of our neighborhood. He's a fucking Confederate flag in his garage, and since the election cycle started, he stopped flying it. What if we lined up lawn lines? Maybe we would. Who knows? But he didn't stop flying it necessarily. He stopped opening his garage for people to see it. Anyway, so we'll continue on. I'm just gonna be a little more quiet while they're hanging out next to my fucking window. All right.
Same way they're treating this event.
Yeah.
This event is like 9/11 2.0. Black Lives Matter killing people, peaceful protests.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter didn't kill anybody.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Then we get AOC's very moderate take, very responsible. She's definitely got the interests of the Republic at heart when she says this.
Okay.
If we can play it.
So I know you're a supporter
Let's see her radical agenda
of impeachment. The Speaker has not yet decided whether she's going to schedule it. Should she schedule it, will it pass?
Well, I absolutely believe that impeachment should be scheduled for several reasons. One, of course, our main priority is to ensure the removal of Donald Trump as president of the United States. Every minute and every hour that he is in office represents a clear and present danger, not just to the United States Congress, but frankly to the country. But in addition to removal, we're also talking about complete barring of the president, or rather of Donald Trump, from running for office ever again. And in addition to that, the potential ability to prevent pardoning himself from those charges that he was impeached for.
Yep.
So a total salting of the earth when it comes to Trump. And
well, yeah, that's how that works, Carl. Salting of the earth, according to Trump. Yeah, yeah. Well, he's not a good president. He didn't do good in office, and he just incited a riot and an attack on his own government. These are things we take seriously in the United States. You should probably know about that. We had a revolution against your government in the past for what I would consider a situation similar to this in the way that they didn't want the leadership that you had proposed that they should have. You know what I'm saying? Some of it was definitely just selfishness and stupidity, but I mean, how do you? There's historical precedents for this kind of shit. Guarantee Carl has no problems with felons with records having trouble getting jobs, but this is salting the earth, of course, right? Sargon needs to go to rehab to stop his fart sniffing addiction. Jesus Christ. Yeah, he's really fucking stupid at this.
She's trying to override presidential authorities there. I mean,
that's not an overriding of presidential authorities. It's an impeachment trial. It's part of the Constitution.
Constitutionally, he has the power to pardon.
Yeah.
Until he doesn't, when they impeach him and remove those powers.
So it's not just AOC. Like AOC, people think of as this fringe senator.
No, it's the squad. It's all of their supporters.
The squad.
Kamala Harris.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to Kamala Harris.
It's Kamala.
Who's just like, we witnessed two systems of justice when we saw that one let extremists storm the United States Capitol and another released tear gas on peaceful protesters last summer. We know this is unacceptable. We know we should be better than this. It's like, this is just the inverse of reality. I mean,
the inverse of reality. Do you guys remember when Carl used to pretend to be anything close to left of center? Do you guys remember when he used to pretend that? And now he's like, you know what? The government boot, that tastes so fucking good, dude.
The Trump supporters got tear gassed as well. They didn't.
No mega lol.
Make the argument the cops did let the extremists storm. Therefore, it's not much of a storm. In fact, and the fact that they were staying between the velvet ropes and things like that and didn't do any significant property damage.
They didn't do any significant property damage? What? What? No significant property damage. Let's just look. Let's just. I guess we could just look. I guess through these things. little property damage right there. These are properties that they've damaged. Oh, weird. Old timey, irreplaceable artifacts of history within the premises. Vandalizing all that. Oh, look, these doors that have existed for fucking ages that we got from fucking France or something, from Paris. Like, what? I don't know why we're not looking at the other shit. Like, they stole a bunch of shit. They broke a bunch of windows. They vandalized the outside of the thing. I mean, amazing. Why are we building walls again? Fat rednecks can get over this. You think a Mexican whose fucking familial well-being is on the line can't also climb up wall? Surprise. I mean, all of this shit. Obviously, this property damage. This fucking guy, he's in prison. Oh, look, this fucking guy, he's in prison now. I mean, no, that's Uncle Ike's. Where else? There was. They're not showing the. They're not showing that one hallway. I mean. Now they're playing music in their fucking car or something. What the fuck is going on over there? I don't know if you can hear my neighbors, but they're losing my. There's lots of property damage, bro. There's plenty of property fucking damage in here. I don't know, man. I just don't know. They didn't burn it down, so it wasn't like that bad, right? If they don't burn it down, then you know you're okay. That's how it works.
Kind of made it look like it was a jaunty tourist outing, frankly. But the idea that
a jaunty tourist outing. You know what I like at my jaunty outings? Gallows. I build gallows at my jaunty outings. That's 3d6, Timonage. Probably what? Edo-less property damage after they disarm both of those pipe bombs. Oh yeah, the pipe bombs, of course, that they set. That, by the way, law enforcement confirmed that those pipe bombs were operational. Those were going to explode. So I mean, yikes. Sip it like Dave. I can't do it. There, you have the noise from it now. Am I gonna eat pizza later, chat? I might.
Protests last summer were peaceful.
I don't know why that thought pumped into my head. I just haven't really eaten today.
It's madness. It's just madness.
A little yogurt and raspberries.
What clown world are you living in?
Yeah. She's in an opposite reality of lies that she thinks like James Lindsay calls it pseudo-reality. And that's what it is. It's a reality made up of narrative points that just don't reflect what's the facts on the ground. And so...
Do you think that the maggots will attack before the 20th? I think the 20th is going to be interesting. Do you hear this? What are they doing out there? What are they doing? What is the temperature? Why are they hanging? It's 31 degrees. What are they doing outside my window, bro? James Lindsay's a fucking clown.
Twisting things
he refuses to debate me because he's a bitch. I said it.
To lies, and then you get the topping on the cake is Joe Biden's reaction to this. Now, before I start, I just want to say, like, if you were confident about your...
It's Friday, Jake. It's also Hong Kong, literally. It's also January in Michigan. I don't know if you've ever been here in January. Not ideal for outdoor activities. They just beeped. I don't know if you could hear that beep. That was literally a beep. During a pandemic, yeah. I think they all live in the house, though. I think there's only like 4 or 5 people, but yikes. Just loud.
The district I work at in SC changed the initial plan from being virtual in December to move to 100 students F2F. I love being at the mercy of my superintendents in school.
Oh, yeah.
Board's ability to resist parents bitching about keeping the schools open.
Thanks for the $5 reduce. Appreciate that. Yep. Yikes. Really glad I'm not teaching right now. Really glad. If not for the gun violence, for the fucking COVID.
Position. And if you were legitimate and you felt that you could prove that you had legitimately won this election, there were no problems, you would...
Did that through multiple audits. They literally recounted everything the whole time. All of that has been done. What? Literally all of it. It was just confirmed in the Congress as well. Like what?
Take this.
Every legal avenue was taken
in stride. You would be more moderate about it because you understand that half of your country is ready to go up. It's really crazy, and this was Joe Biden's response instead.
Yes, they should be treated as they're a bunch of thugs,
true,
insurrectionists,
true,
white supremacists,
true,
anti-Semites.
Yep.
6N is not enough. I mean, come on. You know these shirts they're wearing? These are a bunch of thugs. Thugs. And they're terrorists, domestic terrorists.
Fucking say it with your chest, Joe. Say it with your chest. I love it. I love it.
So they're terrorists, white supremacists, and anti-Semites.
Yeah, literally. What? Did you see who was in that crowd?
6 million ends or something? I don't even want to think about it. We probably aren't allowed to speculate on what he means there.
Many of them were wearing shirts that said 6 million was not enough. Meaning the Holocaust. Obviously, Camp Auschwitz was all over the place. There were people with literal Nazi flags, Confederate flags, which, again, not cool, especially not to walk around the capital of the United States with a Confederate flag, an enemy state that was defeated in a war about slavery because they wanted slavery and we didn't want them to have it. Come on. Come on. This is so... You're so lost. You're so lost. Carl is a fucking grifter.
I don't even think Joe Biden knows what he means.
No.
Like, it's just not a senior moment.
Yeah, okay, Milk Boy. All right, Milky. Milky. They were talking about the fucking Holocaust, bro. Thank you. Thank you.
Doubtless, but like this, I mean, the talk of unity has disappeared. We should all come together now and accept Joe Biden as president, except for the people he's going to persecute.
Fuck off. There was a random person there with a South Korean flag for some reason. Well, there was also people that got the Georgia flag, but they typed in Georgia into Google and got, well... They got this. You know? I mean, if you type in Georgia flag, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, that looks cool. That looks cool. I think I'll buy one of those. You know what I'm saying? They were literally walking around with flags like that. Like, if I look up Georgia flag riot, where were they? Has anyone got a picture? They were all over Twitter. I don't know. If you comb through, you'll be able to see them. You'll be able to see them. There was like 2 or 3 of these stupid fucking Georgia flags. What was even better was not at this riot, but before that, we watched this on stream where they had the Blue Lives Matter flag, and then the police were like, "No, fuck you, you can't be here." And then they took the thin blue line American flag. Then they took that thin blue line American flag, and they stomped it on the ground in a puddle, and it's sopping wet. And then they tried desperately to light it on fire with a little lighter, and it doesn't take up because it's both not a very flammable fabric and also wet. It was fucking hilarious. These people don't know anything about how to do anything. And you can also tell, like, the whole conspiracy theory. We'll talk about this later, probably. The whole conspiracy theory of, like, it was actually Antifa. It wasn't MAGA at all. It was Antifa that did this. Antifa wouldn't show their faces and give their identities and take their phones and storm the Capitol knowing all the security measures that the Capitol offers. Like, come on. This was at the riot. Let's see it. Let me see. Yeah, this kind of shit. Don't mess with Texas. Just in case you don't know. Just in case you don't know what that is. That's a North Korean flag. They're so dumb, bro. Okay.
Yeah, the response is not to calm things down or any kind of unifying speeches. It's to
Don't calm things down or unify, because we were trying to unify when we took guns and tasers and zip ties and gallows and pipe bombs. When we took that into the Capitol and tried to commit treason and also execute our political officials, that was when we were trying to calm down tensions. So do it like us next time. That's how it's supposed to be done, says Milk Boy.
Double down and side with AOC's position, which is obviously the most radical.
Yeah.
That we don't live as, two
Can Milk Boy be saved? No, he goes into the lava with the One Ring, okay?
factions who have to live together in this country. So no, we're one faction and we are going to destroy you.
Yes. Yeah, it's openly, we're going to destroy you. And this is just part of the radicalization. Now, I'm convinced that if this is following the patterns of the French Revolution, then what we're about to see as the...
This is following the patterns of the French Revolution. Was this the Bastille? Like, what? This is not following the patterns of the French Revolution whatsoever, for the record. So the French Revolution was about class consciousness and what? It was a left-wing movement, in which case they had tyrants literally refusing to feed people, let them have their cake. Like it was basically bread riots, and there was also like classism involved, like the first, second, third estates. I mean, there was issues with the church. There was issues with the fucking monarchy. There was issues with just the upper class in general. And then these people, like, Robespierre and shit like that, and then they start this reign of terror, and they start executing people who dissent against the crown. And then those same people who, when they use the guillotines and stuff, they turn those guillotines on the rich, and they start getting mobs, and they storm the Bastille, and they take a cache of weapons, not a cask, a cache of weapons. They take those and try to storm things. They eventually get all the people out that they need, and then they have the then we have things like enlightenment happen. So you know what I'm saying? Like this is not a situation anything similar to the French Revolution. So.
Democrats consolidate their power, and they are consolidating power right now.
The upper class wrote themselves out of paying taxes too. Oh, strange. Very similar to this.
Is a strain of paranoia that's going to rush through, and it will be regarding white supremacists. And you can already see how this is a reporter for ABC News who's saying the House should immediately subpoena the president's phone records. He was calling people during the Capitol insurrection, then tried to continue to delay the election certification. Who else did he call? Rudy calls too, blah, blah, blah. So this paranoid witch hunt is going to go on.
Is it paranoid? It seems like pretty logically consistent, right? To be suspicious of the president that incited the violence, that he may have been doing other things similar to that during the while it was happening. Like what? Like if for nothing else than to make a complete investigation, right? It's not a witch hunt. If just by subpoenaing the phone records of the person who incited the thing in the beginning. What? This guy wants to go back to monarchy so bad, although he thinks that he would be a lord, of course.
And there's going to be rumors of white supremacists, because these are already words they're using. And
do you think he's calling Baked Alaska or something? Like, what do you mean?
Trump's like, well, I tried to call Pelosi's office, but the line's engaged.
Which of course you think is funny, right? I bet if I broke into his office, let's just say this. If I broke into Carl's office and used his phone and live streamed from it and been like, ah ha ha, look at Milk Boy and Sargon, he would try to pursue every extent of the law to put me away. Like, he would not like that at all, right? He's not for freedom and shit like that. He would absolutely try to prosecute, right? Like, if I just walked in, literally just did that, nothing else, didn't break any of his property, I just broke in, like, picked the lock with my rogue skills, and I pick up his phone and live stream from it and be like, I'm sitting in your chair. He would be definitely fucking upset. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. Like, come on. Remote Jams, thanks for following. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's madness. It's madness. And they're going to get paranoid, and they're going to
Trump literally did say he was going to walk with them to the Capitol, yes.
Descend into a kind of purity spiral that will end up with the revolution eating their own. But it's not just...
It's not a revolution. It was a democratic election. This is the least revolutionary thing anyone's ever done. The least revolutionary thing that happened this year was just having an election. What? What?
Media and Trump and media and Biden and the politicians, right? And I put Schwarzenegger in there because he was a politician, right? It's also private companies. I mean, here is the executive moral authority of Ben & Jerry's to weigh in. The ice cream merchants have weighed in to let us know that yesterday was not a protest. It was a riot to uphold white supremacy.
Okay. I'm confused. Why do Ben & Jerry's, who do ice cream, why do they have less of a say in their opinion on Twitter, which you say is a public forum that no one should be banned from? Why do they not get to say this? This is always this weird sort of double standard with this, right? Because I guarantee this same guy likes Black Rifle Coffee Company, you know what I'm saying? For being like, yeah, hell yeah, Kyle Rittenhouse, you know what I mean? I know they didn't do it, but semi on the subject, Baked Alaska would make a great name for a smoke shop in Anchorage. It is also a dessert. Where does Sargon get his qualifications to talk about this that are higher than Ben and or Jerry? You know what I mean? Like, what? Ben & Jerry's is pretty far left. They openly supported Bernie the first time around. Like, I don't know. They do lefty things all the time.
Thanks, Ben & Jerry's. Thank you so much for using your platform to further stoke this kind of racial division.
Fuck off. You support the pillow guy in Goya beans, bro. It's such a fucking double standard. I don't like celebrities that talk about politics. But also, have you seen James Woods? Everyone's favorite celebrity, James Woods. Kevin Sorbo! Ah, yes, Kevin Sorbo. He did the Hercules, which is definitely better than Conan, in my opinion. Like, fuck off, you fucking loser. Like, they disagree with me, so they need to shut up. Well, I mean, that doesn't really sound like the way that you're supposed to talk about free speech, is it, Carl?
That's what we want, right?
Is Sargon a U.S. citizen? No.
This is their thesis. It was allowed to happen. The mostly white insurrectionists, as if this is a character flaw against them, roamed...
The mostly white insurrectionists, it's not a character flaw. It's describing the people that did that to contextualize the violence, Carl. That's what adjectives are for context, to add context to it. And the reason that you call them mostly white in this situation is, yet again, you have right-wing extremism led by the racism and bigotry of white people at the behest of a right-wing bigoted white president, Donald Trump, to do bigoted right-wing white people shit. Like, what?
Freely and without consequence through the heart of our democracy.
Ben and Jerry are white, right? Ben and Jerry owners, I guess. I don't know. Ben and or not the corporation, the two guys. There we go. Look, white. Pretty goddamn white. I don't know if you get very, very much whiter than that. Look at these two fellas. Look at these white guys making just tasty ice cream. By the way, Cherry Garcia, my favorite. Oh, they're making a CBD ice cream based as fuck, bruh. Where's that Cherry Garcia? Not the sweaty balls, not the limited batch sweaty balls. Where's your cherries at? Marlboro Red. Cherry Garcia is so fucking good, man. Now I just gotta look. Cherry Garcia. Yeah. Fuck me up with some Cherry Garcia. Now, I do like the non-dairy with the almond milk, but it's a little more rich. And so I got to go with this. I got to go with this because, again, I'm not a big fan of sweets, but there's tart cherries, there's dark chocolate. It's delightful. It's delightful. So good. Anyway, I don't even fuck with ice cream that much. It's just really good. Never had Cherry Garcia? Well, try it. If you like cherries and you like chocolate, there's no way you're gonna. It's like having a bunch of cordial cherries. It's really nice, and also Grateful Dead. You know,
democracy. Not the only explanation is that this was allowed to happen because they were white, not black, brown, or indigenous people. That's the only explanation, is it? That's the only explanation. Thanks, Ben and Jerry's. It shows you exactly how you think.
It's okay,
when you
Fat
say
Ninja.
The only explanation is this, what you're saying is we can only see this.
This was the only explanation is this was allowed to happen because they were white. Now, I mean, yeah. Okay, what do you think the explanation is that they were not fired upon immediately?
The white mob. It's just the white mob. It's a racial mob to Ben and Jerry's. This is mad. This is mad.
They were white. It's important. You talk about BLM literally the same way. It's important. Like, it contextualizes the fundamental difference in treatment that we've seen all year in 2020 during the riots, during the protests of BLM and Antifa. You see people of color being brutalized in the streets by police officers from the federal to the state level, all the way down. And then these people can just walk in, the difference being they are right-wing and white. If you don't see how the context is important in that scenario, I don't understand how your fucking brain works. Just it's absolutely dumb. Petrie, thanks for following.
Made its way to the dais of the U.S. House of Representatives and the Senate, literally sitting in the chair that the Vice President...
It's not even id poll. It's literally just true.
...had been in minutes before. Is the ultimate embodiment...
Id poll is something like listen to person because black, right? Listen to person because Mexican. Id poll is an irrelevancy. Like the thing doesn't work. Now, if it's listen to this black person about black experiences, that's different than listen to person they're correct because they're black. Does that make sense? That's what id poll actually is.
Of white privilege.
ID politics.
We saw two Americas yesterday. In one America, we saw record voter turnout driven by black voters that resulted in the election of the first black and first Jewish senators from the state of Georgia.
That's true.
Our democracy at its best.
True.
In the second America, we saw a mostly white mob encouraged by the president violently invade the seat of our democracy and attempt to overturn a free and fair election. It was a failed coup, our democracy in peril. Both of these Americas are us. Black and brown people.
I find the lie.
People have long understood this since they've been exposed to the white tyranny that was on full display at yesterday's riot since the founding of our nation.
I'm sorry. Do you disagree with the idea of white tyranny in regards to America on a historical scale? Milk Guy just laughed. Can you actually disagree with the concept that white people have been tyrannical throughout the history of the United States? How do you disagree with that? What's the definition of a tyrant? Let's see. A cruel and oppressive ruler. Strange. Wow. A cruel and oppressive ruler. Nope, nothing to see here. Yes. It's not white. I have no guilt about that whatsoever. You don't have to have white guilt for this thing. It's just factual. What you can have is awareness about it and try to make sure not only is this not exacerbated in your communities, but it's mitigated. It's removed. This is the only. Make sure that if you see someone wielding power over someone else due to the color of their skin, that is a bad thing. Due to their any part of their heritage at all. That's a bad thing. This is when and he can't separate this. Carl can't separate this, and I don't know why. Because he's very stupid. He thinks white and black mean the same things culturally, right? When someone says, I'm proud to be black, he goes, well, why can't you be proud to be white? It's like, well, because we're not a monolith. There's a big difference, a fundamental difference. And here's the fundamental difference. If you are confused about what's the difference between black pride and white pride, okay? Or just the ability to have Black Lives Matter versus White Lives Matter kind of shit. If you're confused about that and you're like, well, why don't White Lives Matter? First of all, they do. It's highlighting that the Black lives have been undervalued and making sure to point out that they do in fact also matter. But beyond that, white people, you hear this thing called white people don't have culture. They don't. I'm white. Hi, white. Because white is not a culture. It's not a subset. It's not a group. Like Irish people were not considered white for some time. Italian people were not considered white for some time. This is the difference. White people are people with light-colored skin, right? And this is specifically in America. So part of me gets why he would initially not understand this, but he's been told this a million times, and he refuses to just fucking, have any sort of cultural understanding whatsoever of another place that he's barely been to. White people have pride in things like Italian heritage, in Irish heritage, in Greek heritage, in Roman heritage, in Italian or Spanish heritage. You can be white passing from all these countries. I mean, it's a thing. Brazil, like white people are all over the place. Wherever you come from, it's usually attached to that sort of thing and you know it, especially if you're Italian American or Jewish or something. Like these are typically experienced pride aspects of white people, right? Because white has a broad structure of different heritages, and they just sort of aesthetically look similar. That's the difference. Now, black people, American black people that descend from slaves, have a very different experience, okay? Because they were stolen from lands, okay? They were stolen, taken, human beings taken from a land where they had a home and a culture, and they were packed together in ships, brought across, and used for labor. Their culture was dissolved. Their culture was destroyed. They weren't from this village in this location. They weren't from this, that all dissolved. You lose that history over time, especially 2-3 generations in. You lose that because you're not from there anymore. Now there's some carryovers you can see. There's definitely, especially in the cooking and stuff, you see a lot of this stuff carry over culturally. However, this is a through line through most black people that live in the United States, in almost every black person if you are a descendant of a slave. The culture was unified, and it changed. Black in America is a culture. Now, you could have variations of that culture as time progresses, but because they were all descended from slaves, all in the South and all in like a very specific bandwidth of the South, right? And I know there was like Caribbean slaves and stuff like that, but we're talking about America, right? This is a specific culture that grew out of the wreckage of their combined cultures. That's the fundamental difference. And if you can't understand that, I have no idea how you can just not. I don't know how you can speak on this. This is obvious. Just from you don't have to bring politics into it. Just from a sociological perspective, a very neutral perspective, you can understand why a culture would go from something to another thing and why it would be created in a certain way. If you can't understand that, you should probably shut the fuck up and listen to somebody talk about it. Not necessarily even me. It's literally anybody else, preferably a black person that has experienced this stuff. It's where I got my information. I'm just re-disseminating it because white people tend to listen to white people more. Like I happen to have a platform. I'm privileged enough to have it. Might as well say real things that exist. You know what I'm saying? So, you talk about rednecks and stuff, mountain town white. Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about. That's not a culture. White Silicon Valley IT bro is not a culture. That's not what culture means from a sociological perspective. That's what you. That's just a personality. It's a type of person. Yeah. To be fair, I didn't understand this until someone explained it to me. I know, but people have explained this to Sargon for years. This is the point. Sargon has had time, plenty of time. He's been plenty educated on this. He refuses because he makes money refusing.
It is the double standard that undergirds white supremacy in our...
Stick around, Revan.
...our nation. Both of these Americas are us. How we respond to the events of yesterday will determine which America we will be. Resign, impeach, 25th Amendment, not one more day. Yeah, okay, thank you, ice cream manufacturer. That's good input. But...
Ice cream manufacturer. Meanwhile, you have a bag of whole milk as your co-host. How can you even be against ice cream in that case? It's like the thing he's best for.
Shut the
How racial do you want to get? Like,
it's insane.
But this is the thing. I remember back in like 2012.
Milky!
You know, when this was just college campuses or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, you would never expect like a mainstream verified, massive multimedia.
Ben and Jerry's politics. Let's just type 2012 in. I don't know. I have no idea. Okay. Here we go. This is the first thing that popped up. 2012 Social Environment Assessment Report from Ben and Jerry's. Okay. I just typed it in. Okay. Where we focused our activities, because they have a certain mission statement. In a nutshell, 2012 was as complex as a pint of New York superfudge chunk. I've been extremely proud of Ben & Jerry's, blah, 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 sustainable concept, blah, blah, blah. Okay. We decided to go with Fair Trade International in the U.S. to keep Ben & Jerry's global transition to fair trade certified ingredients under one global system. We campaigned earnestly to overturn Citizens United and get money out of U.S. politics. We continued to grow and harmonize within our Caring Dairy program for dairy farmers in Vermont and the Netherlands. We engaged fully in Better Dairy campaign, became a certified B Corp, which recognizes the highest standard for responsible corporate operations. We support the next generation of social entrepreneurs through our Join Our Core program, which we can look at. Like, this is from 2012, my guy. Never mind, we can't look at it. We were temporarily stepped back to reflect the accelerate. We recalibrate our fair trade conversion so that U.S. 2013 could accelerate, blah, blah, blah. We uncharacteristically missed an activism opportunities to support non-GMO labeling in California, but used the lapse to recommit to our consumers to know about GMOs in their food, blah, 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 which I do think is bullshit, but that's okay. 2012 was a different time, and they didn't have all the information. 3-part mission statement. I mean, come on. This is quite literally political statements from Ben & Jerry's as a company. Get money. They're literally overturn Citizens United to get money out of U.S. politics. Come on. Just literally, just look something up before you say it, Milk Boy. 1 second. It would have taken 1 second.
Media company to talk in these terms.
I told everyone this was going to be everywhere.
The white tyranny.
Social justice, I warned them.
It was already there. You just got more racist.
I warned everyone, every step of the way, that social justice was going to control the thought processes of the left. All of it. And now Joe Biden's ranting about white supremacists. Ben & Jerry's are ranting about white mobs. And
because we have white supremacists and mobs. What?
And it's like, but the white mob, as you describe it, is the one that's being targeted by the feds. Black Lives Matter were given money. They were given a pardon by the media. Everyone was just like, oh, well.
They were given a pardon by the media, which is not how pardons work.
Mostly peaceful protests. Kamala Harris, the peaceful protests of June. It's like, peaceful my ass, man.
Like Ben & Jerry's gave them money themselves.
Yes.
They bailed people out from in jail for committing criminal acts.
Yeah.
They're like, they're fine. They've done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Well, because bail is a situation in which you maybe you're not privy to this. Bail is a concept that keeps poor people in jail for the purpose of they're poor, so they have to stay there. If you're poor, you can't afford bail. That's why they do that. Do you know why they post bail for other people? Like say you're rich and you post bail, you just get out. You're not in jail during the shit, and you can have freedom. You literally have to pay for your freedom to have you need to pay to have freedom prior to your legal trial to prove that you had crimes that you committed. Otherwise, you just stay in jail, possibly for not committing any crime whatsoever. How cool is that? You like that shit? You a big fan of that? How free is that? Hi, I'm a Republican. I like freedom. Oh, do you? Do you like freedom? Sounds to me like you don't. That doesn't sound free at all. In what way is that freedom? Please illuminate me. I know I have a couple Trump people in here. At least I did. I would love to know how in the world that's free. I would love to know how in the world private prisons are free. We're monetarily incentivized to keep you here throughout the duration of your sentence, and even longer if you should infract against our rules, because we make hundreds of dollars a day to have you here. Oh, cool. That's pretty free. Pretty free, bro. Pretty free when capitalist countries, or capitalist corporations can literally take your freedom. How fucking cool is that? That's pretty free. Pretty free, if you ask me. Free. True, that's free. By the way, we have a very elite number of followers. Look at that. Elite.
Her ramble was just
Vrykirion, thanks for following.
And can we scroll down just a little bit on that, please? To give shout out to Tailed Feature with his excellent and pithy reply. Silence Brand. We don't need to hear from you, right? But then we'll just go on to the.
If you want racial division, buy Ben & Jerry's.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you want a race war, buy Ben & Jerry's ice cream, because they want a race war too.
They want a race war. Okay. They want a race war. Alrighty. Cool, man. Cool, bro. Sure. Look at this guy who doesn't want a race war. This guy definitely doesn't want a race war. Here, I'll even Civil war. Civil war. Culture war to civil war. Start of the second civil war. We are in a civil war. Voters fear civil war. Secret anti-Trump war games predict Democrats push to civil war. The escalating civil war. The coup against Trump will ignite civil war. Antifa will be declared terrorists, says Donald Trump. Civil War 2 is coming. Trump tweets warning of civil war. Feminists in civil war. Democrats' internal civil war. Hackers make a movie on the cultural civil war. Democrats' internal civil war. Driving the cultural civil war. This is just the beginning. From culture war to civil war. Authoritarian tactics in the cultural civil war. Sweden's free speech and civil war. Like, what? Cool, that guy doesn't want a fucking race war, though. No way. No way, dude. No way. That'd be terrible.
Man, I'd love to see what it's like. The Daily Stormer is going to be endorsing Ben & Jerry's by tomorrow.
Doubtless. I mean, there's probably a reason that Richard Spencer voted for Biden, I guess.
Wow.
Well, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he unironically. The white supremacists voted Biden, and you can see why. Because they frame everything in race. Anyway, go.
So, Richard Spencer wrote a thing about why he was voting for Biden. It was because Donald Trump wasn't right-wing enough and wasn't racist enough for him, and he was mad, so he was like, they're not getting my vote. And he convinced a bunch of other Nazis not to vote for Donald Trump because they weren't doing Nazi stuff enough. Like he wrote a whole Twitter thread about this. And he's like, yeah, and then they're going to say that I voted for Joe Biden. Like, come on.
Going on, we can look at we can see into the minds of the insane Twitter activists. I love it on Minds.com. This has been given an age limit because this is an insane series of statements that I didn't run these ones past.
Wait, does anybody like Arthur Chu? Do people like this guy? I don't think left-wing people like Arthur Chu. Am I nuts?
Our resident psychologist, which is Josh, who is qualified, a master's degree in psychology. So, but I don't think you need to be an expert to be able to establish what the problem is here, right? So Ashley Babbitt was the woman who was shot during the Capitol protest. She wasn't armed. I don't think that she looked like a present threat to the
None of you know who he is.
I'm not
That's what I
saying
thought.
that
She was a trespasser.
Yeah, I'm not saying that in the circumstances there may not have been reason for him to be sufficiently afraid to discharge his weapon. Now, I'm not condemning anything or endorsing anything. I'm just saying these are the things that I believe happened.
Yeah, he's an old Gamergator, yeah. But now he's anti-Nazi, which is a good thing. But just look at how he words things. You know what I mean? He's like edgy. No one likes this guy.
But Arthur Chu definitely has a position on this. Now, Arthur Chu is an insane radical leftist who was first came to my notice because of his opposition to Gamergate. And so it's interesting how he has radicalized since that point. He was never a sane chap back then, but this is madness, right? Ashley Babbitt feeding the worms is one of the few good things that happened as a result of the Capitol protest. And if you feel the need to mourn her Nazi ass, it'll be easier for both of us if you unfollow me now. When the bullet goes through the fatty tumor a Nazi has in the space where a human being would have a brain, nothing is lost. A pile of meat that moved and spoke and acted like a person was made to stop moving and thus could no longer fool people into thinking it was one of them. The Nazi is the opposite of a person. Therefore, our morality to them must be reversed. To hate them is to love. To harm them is to heal. To kill them is to bring life. You should feel less bad than you do about putting down a rabid animal. In the case where in that case the rabies virus and host are separate entities, one was the victim of the other. A Nazi is the disease.
Guy went a little hard. No, it's real. This is how Arthur Chu is. Yeah. Again, it's like he's like LARPs this kind of shit.
That's just sickening.
That's genocidal rhetoric.
Yeah.
That's just that. I mean, that is.
There's a reason he had to go to Minds to see this guy's tweets.
It's Nazi with Jew, and you realize you're talking to a Nazi. That's what a Nazi said about Jews, and that's what Arthur Chu is saying about MAGA supporters.
Yeah.
This is insane. He's a verified checkmark, verified on Twitter.
He went to Minds to see
I
that.
assume all of those is probably still up.
Yeah, I assume they're still up too.
Yeah, not Nazis are a political affiliation though. They're not the same as a Jewish person, for the record. But you know.
Like unreal. It's just unreal. And
you found Lotus Eaters? Oh, we've done Lotus Eaters for quite some time. This is because look, I just found him. I got Milk Boy right here. He's the Elijah Wood of the stream. There he is. Nice Milk Boy, and then of course we have Sargon body double. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, we've been on top of this because as you know, my good friend Carl, who I have debated before, if you guys want to check that out, and he tried to talk to me for an hour about what an American is. It was really, really sad. Yeah. Shout out Lance, by the way. Go check out the Surfs. Obviously, the Surfs, if you exist in the middle of the day instead of the back end of the night, you can hang out with Lance, who is a good boy, and we love him deeply. And hopefully we get to hang out more this year. That'd be nice. Has Carl ever won a debate? No. In fact, when V is the more reasonable of the two people that you're talking to, you know you have a problem. You know you have a real big problem.
The madness of the Twitter activists has infected everything. This is ABC's well-respected political director, Rick Klein, giving us his take on it.
Hiya, Jade. Thanks for giving one to the Surfs, man.
His take, again, genocidal, right? Aside from the impeachment and 25th Amendment talk, Trump will be an ex-president in 13 days. The fact is that getting rid of Trump is the easy part, he wrote in his own blog. Cleansing the movement he commands, or getting rid of what he represents to so many Americans, is going to be something else.
Oh, he used the word cleansing. Carl's going to have a shit fit. Oh, no.
Now, the language of purity, again, I did run this past Josh, but he was like, well, this is pretty cut and dry, to be honest. When you start using the language of purity, quote, this is the justification for something awful, and what they're doing is making sure their side is exempt from any blame.
Brother, they stormed the Capitol, put pipe bombs in the chambers of Congress, and went there with the intention to abduct and murder multiple members of Congress on both sides of the aisle. What? How are you okay with that, bro? What? I wouldn't be okay with that if it was fucking Antifa. If they went in and were like, we're just going to take these people because we don't like what they're doing, being politicians. They were trying to stop a legal democratic election. Antifa's never done anything like that. Antifa wouldn't be anti-democracy. BLM wouldn't be anti-democracy. What? I mean, they might be anti-electoralism for sure, but I mean, like, not in the way that this works, right? Not in the way that, like, you just, like, fucking violate the interaction of human people with the political system trying to do something. You lost an election, you threw a hissy fit because you're entitled, and you want your guy for some reason who you've built a cult around, and then you went to murder people because they wouldn't undo a thing that people voted for. What? What? I have no idea how Carl gets to this point in his head, ever.
When they say the other side needs to be cleansed, what they're implying is that our side is already clean, and therefore, all bad lies with the MAGA movement. And again, the cleansing, just, it's a terrifying frame.
See,
right? And then
cleansing. Can't say cleansing.
You've got Mozilla.
So the idea here is cleansing the movement he commands is going to be something else. So obviously the idea here is to get the extremism out of the right wing, and it doesn't mean by taking people and putting them in gulags. It means having separation between the cult of personality that Donald Trump has and the hold that he has on some members of the right wing, and then understanding that there are aspects of the right wing that could offer something to a conversation. Even if we disagree, it's just I'm fine with a base political disagreement, right? Like, oh, I don't think this should be in the budget for this reason. Okay, we can talk about that. We can have that discussion, right? We can't talk about human rights. There's no middle ground on human rights, bro. Just none.
Because of Firefox, Mozilla.
Firefox.
Yeah, right. But this we need more. Can we scroll down a bit? We need more than deplatforming. It's like, what are you asking for a firing squad? More than deplatforming, right? But they blame this, of course, on social media, and they've got their solutions that they list. Reveal who's paying for advertisements and how much they're paying and who is being targeted.
Yeah.
Commit to meaningful transparency of platform algorithms so we know how and what content is being amplified to whom and with the associated impact. Turn on by default the tools to amplify factual voices over disinformation.
Yeah.
Work with independent researchers to facilitate in-depth studies of the platform's impact on the...
Use science is literally what this is saying. Reveal who is paying for advertisements, okay? How much they are paying and who is being targeted. Yes, because it's misinformation, okay? Just use real life information. You ever think about that? You ever think about making political decisions based on real life information? Like if because everyone who's like, oh, masks don't, like, I'm anti-mask, they just don't believe in the real information, right? It's not like they have and understand and believe the real information of, like, if you wear a mask, it will protect you to a certain extent. It will protect those around you to a certain extent. And it will make the country a healthier place based on the fact that, you know, the virus rides on spit dropules that are stopped at the border of your mask because, you know, and you know how much they love borders. They should love the border of a mask stopping illegal aliens from entering their own body, right? In the form of a virus. But the virus doesn't go out by itself. It rides on like our spit and our saliva and shit and mucus. And those particles, those molecules are bigger than the netting of most masks. That's why it's important. They don't believe that, and not for political reasons. That was a whistle. Sorry. For political reasons, like not because they just don't want to do the thing, right? Quite literally just politics. It's misinformation. They're believing the misinformation. Yeah, that's not okay. That's not what any of the voices say. You could say that, like, if you would have a situation no matter what where some people weren't wearing masks, right? Where someone would go, it's only 95% effective if we both wear masks. I think 5% is high anyway. I don't want to wear a mask. It makes me uncomfortable. I disagree with you. I think you're a dog shit person, but for different reasons, right? I think you at that point you're just like being very selfish, right? It's not this misinformation. You haven't been piped this propaganda by a bad actor in our system. You know what I'm saying? These are definitely more reasonable ways to go about this. I would much rather be able to have a conversation with someone who just needs to be convinced rather than someone who's not living in reality. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just all of this is just like literally just being like, give people accurate information. They can make their choices after that. This says nothing about stopping their choices, right? This says nothing about anything like that. We could, depending on what it is, we could talk about it, but just giving people real information. You can have opinions on that information, but it's a big difference of having misinformation and just having accurate information that you disagree about. Very big difference. It's still misinformation? What? People aren't told about how deadly it is? Yeah. What is this yeah shit? Why are you doing pigs too? Get rid of the pigs. It's a little spammy. I don't know why you're ending shit with yeah. It's weird. I'm not for it. Yeah, you've done it in every single message. Not a fan. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm taking your free speech away. Yeah, you seem a little weird, and you might be going through some shit. That's okay, but I'm not a big fan of how you're doing that shit. Yeah. What is this yes shit? It's all, yeah, I don't like it, all right? Last fucking warning. Not a fan. Are they bears? I have no fucking, it looks like a pig on my screen. I have no clue. Could be a bear. Who cares? Who gives a shit? Anyway, that's pretty much the end of the Sargon video. We don't really have to talk about anything else. He's just going to do more misinformation, but it's only a couple minutes that he just looks at like Lindsey Graham and shit, and it's irrelevant. So, yeah, that is... Sargon is one of the most harmful individuals on the platform. for sure. Absolutely. He's dog shit. And he should not be trusted with any sort of information dissemination. He's fucking stupid. All right. I love your faces. Bye, Milk Boy. Bye, Sargoy. There we go.